Hey friends, I hope the morning's treating you well. Hope you got your coffee. If you drink coffee, I left mine inside. And it's beautiful here in Indiana. The red buds blooming back here behind me. Crab apples are blooming. Just lots of flowers, daffodils. Everything looks beautiful. Today it got cold, so I got my coat on. I thought I was kind of done with coat weather, but I spent a week in Nashville, and the red buds were blooming down there a little bit earlier, and I just got back. But while I was there, I learned about something that I thought I should already know about, but I didn't, and maybe you didn't know also. But there's a Jerry Garcia exhibit at the Bluegrass Hall of Fame in Owensboro, Kentucky, where they're honoring his contribution to bluegrass music. And they have an exhibit. They had a big event last weekend, and I just wanted you guys to know about it. Maybe there's somebody here who's been to it. Have you been? I'm ashamed to say I've never been to the Bluegrass Hall of Fame, the museum in Owensboro, and I'm just kind of ashamed to admit that, but I never have. And I'd like to interview somebody from there about their Jerry Garcia exhibit. And I sent Mike Bubb an email and asked him, hey man, you know anybody that might be the right person for this? And he sent me an email, and I'm going to reach out. But I'm just saying this right here because you never know who's watching. You never know. Maybe I have friends there already and I don't know it, but I'd love to do something. I found out about it. I interviewed Vince Herman from Leftover Salmon and Eric Thompson this week, and they told me about it. There was a big event where it's starting to rain. It's starting to rain. I should probably get my camera out of the rain. Let me hide somewhere real fast and we'll continue this. Hang on. Okay, it just started raining, so I ran up here on the porch. The wind's kicking up a little bit. I'm not sure how bad it's going to rain, but I figured this might be a little bit safer, and I don't want to ruin my camera by having to rain on it. Okay, it stopped raining, so I jumped down here to try to get a little bit better light. I apologize. But I interviewed Vince Herman from Leftover Salmon and Eric Thompson, and they were both telling me about this big event that happened at the Bluegrass Hall of Fame. It's Jerry Garcia thing. They had the opening night, and Leftover Salmon was the backing band. I got a flyer right here. 3 nights of live music in Woodward Theater. Leftover Salmon was a house band. Sam Grisman Project, Peter Rowan, Eric Thompson, Pete Wernick, Kyle Tuttle, David Nelson, Jim Lauderdale, Ronnie McCurry, and more to be announced. And they were just talking about what a great time it was. I didn't know anything about it at all. Nothing. And I thought, man, if I don't know about it, I need to help get the word out. Things like this, because I would have went up there. I was already in Nashville. I would have driven up for some of that. And they said they showed 3 documentary movies, Grateful Dog, Long Strange Trip, and Festival Express. There was a big panel discussion that they were kind of gushing over how great it was. And I believe all of that is available online, although I haven't watched it yet. I'm just now getting up to speed. I'm saying this because I don't know if there's I actually reached out to Mike Bubb and said, hey man, do you know anybody? Because Mike Bubb knows everybody. Mike's a great guy. He's everybody's best friend. And I'm like, hey man, is there somebody there who might let me interview them about this Jerry Garcia exhibit and his contribution to bluegrass? He kind of opened up this window for his love of bluegrass was absolutely authentic and true. And he opened up this window to making it all right for all of these other people to find out about Bill Monroe, Jimmy Martin, Ralph Stanley, just so many people that they might not have found out about otherwise. And that's a beautiful thing. And I think it's cool that they have a Jerry Garcia exhibit. It's going to be running for 2 years. I'm hoping to go to it. I'm thinking, you never know who's watching these things. I'm always shocked. I assume I'm standing out here in front of a bush and talking, and I just figure there's about 14 people across the globe watching, but then you see the numbers and they're often rather large, and I meet people and then you're like, oh, there are people who watch this. There are people out there, and some of them have interesting, cool jobs. Maybe somebody works at the Bluegrass Hall of Fame. I don't know. If you have a historian there that might want to be interviewed, and maybe we can get the word out about I can just help. You guys are doing a good job getting the word out, but reach out to me. Send me an email, info@otisgibbs.com. If I don't hear from you, I'll reach out to y'all. Maybe we'll be able to do something. The rest of you, have you been to this? It's only been open for a week, but have you been to the Hall of Fame, the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame? Did you dig it? Was it a good time? Are you a Jerry Garcia fan? Do you dig Jerry Garcia's, bluegrass stuff? Here's a little bit of copy from their website. I'll read a little bit. It says, the temporary exhibition that will be open to the public for 2 years and will include several of Garcia's banjos, an acoustic guitar, a pedal steel, and many more artifacts to tell his bluegrass story within the Hall of Fame's exhibit space. Jerry Garcia, A Bluegrass Journey, will occupy 2,000 square feet and include artifacts, interactives, exclusive interview content, and more. So Jerry Garcia began his music career in the early 1960s in San Francisco area, playing bluegrass and folk music. Known for his work as the lead guitarist and vocals for the Grateful Dead, Garcia embarked on a music career playing banjo and acoustic guitar in Palo Alto. And it talks about how he traveled across the country looking for Bill Monroe, Jim and Jesse, the Osborne brothers. And anyway, I interviewed... like I said, I interviewed Vince Herman, and I'll put that up sometime this week. Really cool guy, really fun. I was surprised he likes the channel, and he's telling me about different videos, and watches all this stuff. I didn't know that. You just never know who's watching. And Eric Thompson was really cool, nice guy, and I'm hoping to put that stuff next week, but I have to take off and play a gig in Key West. So I'll have to leave sometime in a few days, so I'm not sure how much stuff I'll get up before then. But my trip to Nashville, so I was there for a week, had some things I had to do, and I'm trying to think of some different things that happened while I was there. Hung out for a little while after interviewing Vince and Eric at Vince's house, and then they had a gig that night at Dee's, and they were going to have a little rehearsal, just more or less like an impromptu jam session. So I hung out while they played music, and some folks showed up, and it was fun. And I filmed a little bit of that, and then I asked permission. They're like, yeah, go ahead. And I thought about putting that on Patreon or for the channel members, some of that. It might show up in the next few days or so. It might not, I don't know. But the interview stuff definitely will. And so that night I went to go see them, and I was looking at things that were going on that night, and I saw that Patrick Sweeney was playing at the 5 spot. He's there every Monday with his blues band, the Tiger Beats. I like Patrick's blend of blues, his brand of blues, we'll say, and he's very good at it. And it's not a bunch of guitar wankery or whatever. It feels rather song-based, which I dig that. But anyway, I went over. It was really good. He was great as usual. Patrick and I have talked. It's been over a year now about doing an interview on the channel sometime, and we had a couple scheduled, and I think I had to cancel one. He canceled another. Something happened, but we'll do that at some point. But his band, the Tiger Beats, is at the 5 spot every Monday, doing like the happy hour. And if you're in Nashville, go to that. It's a really good time. It's a good hang. I saw a bunch of people there. This is the part that I was getting at earlier when I say you never know who's watching. And I always assume nobody I know is ever watching. Man, I had so many people come up to me at the 5 spot and, hey, Otis, love the channel. People I didn't know. And that was beautiful. And then kind of out of nowhere, I turned around, and there's my buddy Jay McDowell, who was bass player in BR549. And I hadn't seen Jay in a while, since before I moved. But I Oh, here comes a squirrel asking for a peanut. Here you go, brother. There you go. Peanut for the squirrel. Got to pay the snack tax. Jay was, I don't know, I just caught up with him. If you guys dig the Musicians Hall of Fame channel that Joe Chambers is always the face of and all that, when I look at my analytics, I can tell there's a huge overlap between people who subscribe to that channel and mine, and it should be because it's a great channel. Jay was always like Joe's right-hand man, and Jay put together all of those interviews. He filmed them. He did research for those or whatever to make Joe's life a little bit easier or whatever. And then Joe passed away. I didn't know Joe. I met him a few times through Jay. But and Jay knows his stuff. He's a great, beautiful cat and just a really, really great guy. And after Joe Chambers passed away, I believe his kids took over. I don't know much about any of that. And then Jay took a job at the Country Music Hall of Fame. But Jay deserves a lot of credit for that whole archive that's online. He did a lot of sweating and toiling, and he loved every single bit of it because he's like me. He's way down the rabbit hole. And Jay really knows his stuff, and he works really hard. So it was beautiful to see him and catch up a little bit. I didn't even know that he wasn't at the Musicians Hall of Fame anymore, and I hope I'm not giving away too much. I just want you guys to know Jay's a great guy, and if he ever pops up on YouTube or whatever, he's the real thing, and you should pay attention to it. And I have no idea whether he'll ever pop up or anything, but I'm saying too much because I don't know. I'm just saying things. I love Jay. That's what I want to say, and I want to shout him out. So I left there, and I went over to I left 5 Spot, had a great time there. Went over to to D's, and there saw a bunch of people who watched the channel. It was really cool. A lot of nice people reaching out, and then more people told me about the Bluegrass Hall of Fame's Jerry Garcia exhibit. There were folks there, but I went to see Vince and Eric Thompson, and I don't know everybody in the band. I feel kind of bad about it. Got more snack tax coming. Last peanut, buddy. I think it's the last one. But it was really good. They played a bunch of old-timey string band music. It's Vince and Eric. Oh, man. A guy named Pete on the banjo. I'm not sure who he was. I just met him that day. Ronnie McCurry was there and got up and played with them. Kyle Tuttle got up. He was great and cool. I think Willie T. Taylor got up and played some jug. I never met Willie. It's funny, Tim Easton mentioned his name to me a few days earlier, and when I was at Vince's, he walked in, but I never got to say hey, so hey Willie, we'll say hey down the road. But I forget who else, but it was really fun, really good, and then I had to split because I had to come back up here at like 4 in the morning or something. And but also I went out to, man, I did something else and I don't remember what it was. You know, I'm getting my days mixed up. I went to the 5 Spot on a different day, and then when I left the 5 Spot, I went to the Underdog, and I saw there in East Nashville to see Guthrie Trapp, and he plays there. I don't know if it's weekly. He plays there a lot. I don't know if it's a regularly occurring thing, but a bunch of people there that watch the channel, which that makes sense. Guthrie's has a YouTube channel, so there'd be people in town for that would be watching YouTube, and maybe they'd seen this. But he has a 3-piece band, and he's really good. I mean, he's really, really good. If you've watched his channel, you know he can play. And I don't know him, man. I met him twice, and the last time was a long time ago. It might have been 5 or 6 years ago, and I've mentioned before that I played poker every Tuesday night at my buddy Andy Reese's house, and every Tuesday for years, and people came and went, and Guthrie came I think twice to that, and it was fun, hang out with him, whatever, just, you know, playing poker, but I don't know him, you know, so that's my only overlap with him at all or whatever, but it was really good, and it was interesting to see his guitar thing. He really technical stuff, complicated arrangements, and all of that, and they weren't just making it up, where they were really, him and the bass player and the drummer, they were all really good, and there was a lot of thought put into it, into the structure and all of that, which is kind of neat. You don't see that often in Nashville when you go out, but I believe they've toured as that unit. And it was pretty impressive how musical it was. And so it's worth it if you're a guitar nerd. Stop in and see if you're in Nashville. See if Guthrie's playing at the Underdog, and there's a few other great guitar players that play there or whatever, and it's a really nice, comfortable place, and I enjoyed. Just there was a cat from Bellingham, Washington, who said, "Hey, I forget your name, man," and there was another cat, lives in Detroit. I think he was originally from Oklahoma City, who said he saw me playing in Grand Rapids with Todd Snyder, and just lucky, man. When I meet people, it's just the nicest people. You don't ever meet any assholes. I'm fortunate about that. But I just want to say, I mentioned earlier, but I have to play, like it's a bad thing. I'm playing in Key West coming up. Look in the comments and look in the description. I have all the dates there. Do I have friends around Key West? If I do, come to the show. And there's 2 shows. Come on out. And I've never been to Key West in my life. So maybe if I have a little bit of time, I'll go do some Ernest Hemingway stuff maybe. But I'll play the gigs and it'll be fun. Then I'm playing a festival in Seymour, Indiana. And then I have to go to the UK, and I'm doing some dates over there. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm trying to think of ways to share some of that with y'all. Got a mini bike. Haven't seen anybody on a mini bike in a while. Trying to think of ways to share things with y'all. Sometimes I'll do like a venue walkthrough and film that and put it on Patreon or something. And I try to do those kind of things when I can. Sometimes there's just so much going on in a day. We drove 7 hours and you show up and you got a sound check right then, and then it's the first time in hours that you've actually sat down and decompressed. There's not always a lot of time to do that stuff, but I do it as often as I can. I'd like to do as much of that as I can in England and Wales and Scotland. But once you guys look at those dates down there, and maybe I have friends over there that would like to come to the shows, and maybe I'll meet you all there and see that. But either way, I hope everything's good with y'all. I hope the flowers are blooming wherever you are. I think the forsythia is next, and with the red buds are blooming. Maybe if you've made it this far, say something about red buds down below. I love red buds, and that's one of the things I always liked. A few things I liked about South by Southwest or going to Texas. It would always happen when the red buds were blooming, and they wouldn't be blooming up in the Midwest yet. And so it was neat to drive down through Kentucky, and when I got to Elizabethtown, heading south, the red buds were blooming on the way down, and then when I got back, they were blooming here in Indianapolis, which was pretty cool. But use red buds in a sentence, and I'll know that you made it this far. And I'll see you guys. Did you watch last thing? Ray Padgett. I interviewed Ray. I forgot all about it, and I uploaded. It seems like it was 3 months ago, but it was like a week ago, and I uploaded 2 things from that. The Bob Dylan stuff is great. Watch the Bob Dylan interview. I'll put it right here. It's not a Bob Dylan interview, but he wrote a book from people who played with Bob Dylan, and interviewed them and turned it into a book. It's really great. I'll put it right here. Watch that. I want to make sure people see that, and spread it around to your favorite Dylan fan, and I'll see you somewhere down the road. Much love to you.